So yeah, Shahrazad's joined us this week because I asked her to give some like background about business startups, which is kind of important because a lot of us, majority of us actually are looking for another career, let's say, or another opportunity to build up some kind of online business or alternative career to what we're doing at present.
So the idea of today was to take on from my latest business book, which is plugin tips for business startups, and give some advice to startups, more specifically on the marketing side. So there are 3 questions that we've been mentioning with Zach, and it covered the branding, the USP, and how to optimize your sales strategy during this time we are in at the moment. So what I'm going to do in the first instance is answer those questions, and then I'll welcome any Q&A that you may have. So in terms of the first point, I'm going to talk about branding. Branding, I have a chapter in my book about it, but because it's a checklist, there's always option to add to it, obviously. So as far as I'm concerned, I think branding is more about having a customer experience. So beyond the graphics, obviously you have the logo, the marketing collateral, the persona, the values of a company. And a brand is typically what a customer has associated with that company. For instance, if you see the emblem of a car, just by looking at the car symbol, you're going to have an understanding of who is the manufacturer. You're going to associate the car emblem with comfort, quality, reliability, design, and everything. So that's the impact of a brand. I mean, I'm sure I can give many more examples, because if you look at the American market, for instance, they are very strong in their branding, in branding companies. So to give an example of what branding is, I would take the analogy of life and soul. Branding is the life and soul of a company. So what is your why, what is your what, and what is your how? And it is combined with the marketing strategy and the marketing identity of a company. So what is it that your company promotes, and how your company embodies those values? The next point I'm going to talk about is what is successful branding. Successful branding is when you have positioned your company successfully in the market. So you have created a unique name, a unique image, and for the product in the mind of the consumer. So when the consumer look at your company, they know exactly what to expect, and it aligns with the vision that you have for your company. That's branding. That's successful branding. And the effects that it has is that it attracts customers. It goes into attraction marketing. The brand attracts the customers towards you. It has a higher level of customer retention and customer loyalty, and it also motivates customer referrals. Customers who like a brand are more likely to recommend to other customers. So how do we build a successful brand? So the questions we have to ask to do that is, what is our vision? How do we want to be perceived? And then you build the business around it. So it starts, and this is the first chapter of my book, it starts with the vision that you have about your business, and then you incorporate the elements of the brand to build the business around it, and then you communicate those values to your customers through the marketing, the sales speech, the marketing strategy, the marketing collateral, and obviously it's all about consistency. And this relates actually to my last talk with Zach, when we were talking about, which name he would have for his records company. And the point I was making with him is to have consistency when you talk about marketing branding. So that's the first point I wanted to discuss. And this answers the first question. Yeah. So the next question I wanted to discuss with you is the USP. So USP in the marketing jargon is it stands for the unique selling point of a company. And it means that it relates to what makes you or your company or your product unique in the market. So it's linked to the positioning of your company in the market. And it can be, for instance, a product feature, a partnership with another company, or a specific field of expertise, an emotional appeal, an exclusive range of products, a pioneering solution. So lots of aspects can relate to the USP of a company. And there are ways to identify your USP. So the first step would be to look at the market and look at the competitors to see what they are doing, and then identify how your product is standing out. What is within your product or the owner or the skills or the experience that are unique to you. I'm going to give an example to make it more concrete. If you look at the online sales, for instance, if you look at eBay, the USP of the product was the auction aspect, the fact that you could buy that product on auction. As far as your company, you have to look at your why. What is the why behind your company? What is your story? What you are good at? And what is the value that you create from all this? And this gives the pointer for the USP. And if you want to incorporate USP in terms of result, why would you motivate the customers to buy your specific product? And this would have a specific benefit for them. So the USP in terms of successful results would be in terms of the value, the specific value you provide for your customers. So your product would have a specific appeal, a specific result that is exclusive to your product. And it's linked to the uniqueness of the brand and the strength of this unique selling point. So if I want to promote, for instance, my books, I would say that the USP of my books are the clarity, the transparency, the fact that complex information is simplified in a digestible format, and it's straight to the point. So if I want to provide the USP for Zach, for instance, is the fact that he incorporates different products, such as the Zen meditation. He's got the English conversational course. He's got this weekly networking meetings, and he incorporates all of this as a brand for Red Eye Zach. And if you look at his marketing on social media, it's quite consistent to his message. So the USP of a product is specific to the owner of the company or to the product of that company. Now, the COVID-19 has put us in the situation where we have to change our lifestyle and our sales strategy. So what would be the best way to optimize your sales strategy during the COVID-19? I've forwarded Zach with the free e-link to my ebook because it covers this aspect. But the point I want to make is that the way to optimize your sales strategy, first of all, would be to adapt the product to the market at the moment. So for instance, now we're living in an online type of business model. So the best way to optimize the sales in that context would be to have a download, an on-demand, streaming, online training, video conferences, home delivery, online catalog type of products. So this would enable the means to increase the e-commerce platforms. Another aspect of optimizing the sales strategy for COVID-19 would be to realign the prices based on the supply and demand situation. So supply and demand strategy is very effective in terms of adaptability to a market. And in terms of communication, obviously the communication process is going to be different from physical communication. So they're going to be more online communication, sales call, voice, video calls, social media communications. So that's the other aspect that's been impacted by COVID-19. And last but not least is the analytics. So when we're in a situation of change in terms of sales strategy and company processes. Then we have to take into account the analytics. What is the customer behavior? How can you assess those behaviors? And what are future trends and forecasts? And this is really important at the moment, because how COVID-19 has affected our businesses, and what is the planning for the future. So I think that's our key aspect for in terms of marketing trends.